Do you sleep less than 7 hours a night? If so, you need to watch all of this video because you could be losing 40% of something vital without even knowing it, and that is just the start. In this video, I'll share some shocking truths about sleep deprivation and, more importantly, 5 actionable fixes that can help you start sleeping better tonight. I'm Ryan, co-founder of Unstoppable. For the past 4 years, we've been helping people achieve high performance, sleep better, and live healthier lives. Let's get into the alarming reality of sleep deprivation. Nearly 2/3 of Americans do not get a full 7 hours of sleep every single night, and it's exactly the same in the UK. Over 7.5 million get less than 5 hours of sleep every single night, which is absolutely crazy. Most people across the world are running on a severe lack of sleep, and it's taking a serious toll. Here's something that might shock you. People who sleep less than 6 hours a night, they are 13% more likely to die prematurely compared to those that get in somewhere between 7 and 9 hours, which is crazy, right? Now imagine I told you whatever you do today, tomorrow morning, you will only remember 60% of it. How would that impact you, your work, your relationships, your life? Now that isn't a hypothetical scenario either, because the research shows people who get 8 hours of sleep a night, they will remember 40% more information than the people who are not getting 8 hours of sleep. That is nearly half of your daily experiences being lost simply because you're not sleeping enough. And it doesn't stop there either. When we don't get enough sleep, beta amyloid builds up in our brains. This forms plaques, and these plaques hinder communication between brain cells and increases our risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. And that's just one health risk. There are many others. It also leads to muscle loss and weight gain. And this is because when we're sleep deprived, our cortisol stays high, which is the stress hormone, which makes us store more fat. This also lowers our testosterone level, which decreases how well we can build and repair our muscles. So by not getting the right amount of sleep, you actually end up gaining body fat and losing muscle. So even if you are somebody who is regularly exercising, running like a lot of people on this channel, you could still end up not liking what you see looking back at you in the mirror, even though you're training really hard. I could go on and on, but let's get into what we can actually do to fix your sleep so that you can get more of it. Back when I was at university, I had done my fair share of all-nighters, and there was one particular night, it was 11 p.m. in the library, and I was revising for an exam that was coming up tomorrow. Now, because I was studying sports science, it wasn't uncommon for me to read articles around caffeine. Why is it important? How can it benefit sporting performance? And also, what are the drawbacks? And there was one particular article that I was reading that said caffeine has a half-life of, I think it said 3 to 5 hours. Now we now know it's around 5 to 7 hours, and there is still discrepancies outside of that as well. And I thought to myself, what does that mean? What it means is that whatever caffeine you have right now, 5 to 7 hours later, half of that is still in your system. If you have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea at, let's say, 2 in the afternoon, 5 to 7 hours later, you're still only halfway getting that completely out of your system. And it was in that moment I was thinking to myself, right, okay, I'm looking around at this exam table that I'm on. There's a conveyor belt of Starbucks coffee cups, energy drinks, all of which have got caffeine in them. And I was thinking to myself, how much caffeine have I had in the time that I've been here? And I decided to do the calculation, 916 milligrams. And I was like, right, okay, what does that even mean? It probably means nothing to you guys either. Can anybody guess how many hours it's going to take that to get completely out of my system? 50 to 70 hours. And that was a light caffeine day for me. And it was also if I wasn't topping up that caffeine every single day, which I was doing. So it probably actually took longer to get that out of my system. It was in that moment though that I realized that caffeine was one of the biggest impacts for me on my sleep, the length of the sleep that I was getting, and also the quality of that sleep as well. So caffeine is a super powerful performance enhancer, but when it comes to your sleep, it has a massive impact, and not for the better. Firstly, have a caffeine cutoff. We would recommend this being around midday, as this is enough time for most people to get this completely out of their system before they go to bed. Now, if you are having coffee, tea, energy drinks, chocolate, some ice cream, kombucha, pre-workout supplements, or even over-the-counter medications, just be aware that all of these things have caffeine in them too. And also remember that caffeine has a half-life of around 5 to 7 hours. So whatever you're going to have right now, just remember that half of that will still be in your system 5 to 7 hours later. And as a rule of thumb, we'd say no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine each day for each person. When you know this, then it's just a case of tracking what you're having. Most coffee or tea packets though, they don't have the strength in milligrams on the back. So the best thing that you can do here is Google it and find out how much caffeine you're actually having. Then it's just a case of adding up, seeing how much you're having and how you're feeling on that amount too. Then you might look at that and think, I'm having too much. Then it's just a case of trying less, seeing how this impacts your sleep and also your performance the following day. The second thing that you can do is you can create a consistent bedtime routine. By having a routine, it signals to your body that it's time to wind down. And this will help to regulate your internal body clock, and it will help to improve improve the quality of your sleep. But here's one of the biggest mistakes that we see here: using phones, tablets or laptops before bed as a way of winding down. And the reason why this is a huge mistake is because all of these devices emit something called blue light, and blue light helps us to release a hormone called serotonin, and serotonin makes us feel awake and alert, and it also suppresses the hormone called melatonin, which is the thing that makes us feel sleepy. Can you see how this is not a recipe for a good night's sleep? But here's what you can do here. Before you plan to go to sleep, disconnect from all technology. Now, in our experience, 30 to 90 minutes before you plan to sleep, that's enough time for most people to start signaling to their bodies that it's time to wind down. You can also do some more relaxing activities before you plan to sleep. You could try reading a book, preferably on a Kindle, as this doesn't emit any blue light. You could also do some meditation, some journaling and some breathing exercises. Now, if you are thinking to yourself, Ryan, my way of winding down is going on my phone, here's what you can do here. Wear blue light blocking glasses 30 to 90 minutes before you plan to sleep. This is a way that you can strip the blue light out of your environment, and we've put the link to the one that we recommend in the description too. The third fix is to avoid intense exercise too close to bedtime. Exercising too late at night will increase hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, and these hormones make you feel awake and alert when you're trying to wind down. Exercise also raises your body temperature and your heart rate, which are two things that are not ideal when you're trying to get off to sleep. Now, I know this firsthand because I used to train at the track from around 6 to late at night, and what I was trying to do was get home, shower, eat and be asleep all by 9 o'clock. And it was not working. I was struggling to fall asleep, I felt restless, and the quality of that sleep was rubbish, and some nights I wasn't sleeping altogether. So what I did was I switched my workouts to the morning, and the difference was instantaneous. I was sleeping better, I had more energy, I was way more productive in the following day too. If this is you right now, here's a few things that you can do. Try not exercising 1 to 2 hours before you plan to go to sleep. That's enough time for most people to come off the exercise that they've done and still sleep well. If evening workouts, they're your only option, then having a solid bedtime routine with lots of relaxing activities, that will still help you to wind down like we've given you in fix 3. The fourth sleep fix is to not eat too close to your bedtime. If you eat a heavy meal right before you plan to sleep, this will interfere with your sleep. Digesting food increases your body temperature and your heart rate, which will make it harder for you to fall asleep and will reduce the quality and the length of your sleep. So here's what you can do here. Have your last meal at least 2 hours before you plan to sleep. And also pay attention to how different foods affect your sleep too. You might find that you need even more time than this depending on what you've ate, and I would actually recommend doing a food intolerance test, because the amount of clients that we've had that have done one and then it flags up that they're gluten and lactose intolerant, yet they've been eating this way for years, is insane. And this could be affecting your sleep too. Now, I'm gluten intolerant, and if I have this before I sleep, then this will impact the quality of the sleep that I get, and it also makes it harder for me to get off to sleep. The last fix is around limiting alcohol before you sleep. A lot of people think that alcohol helps them to sleep better, but it doesn't. It helps you to get off to sleep because it essentially is knocking you out, but it's disrupting your sleep cycles. Alcohol reduces this thing called REM sleep, which is the stage of sleep that helps you to remember stuff. It causes you to wake up more during the night. It increases your chance of snoring and also sleep apnea, which will affect your sleep and also your partner's. And it also raises your body temperature and your heart rate, which again makes your sleep less restful. So here's what you could do here. The first and the most obvious thing is to not drink, but you have to want to do this, and the reasons for stopping, they need to outweigh the reasons for you carrying on. But ultimately, this is your choice, and I'm not coming on here trying to get you to quit drinking. But if you are going to carry on drinking, here is what you can do. Plan your last drink accordingly. On average, it takes around 1 hour for your body to process 1 unit of alcohol, which is a small glass of wine, a single shot of a spirit, or a bottle of beer. So if you know what time you're planning to go to sleep, you can start to work out when that last drink should be, so that you can get that completely out of your system before you go to bed and then get a good night's sleep. Also, if you are drinking, stick to your normal bedtime routine and your habits. Be consistent with your wake up time. Go to the toilet before you plan to sleep so you're less likely to wake up in the middle of the night. Spend 30 to 90 minutes away from blue light. All of the things that we've already been talking about. Imagine waking up feeling refreshed, remembering more of what you've learned and feeling healthier overall. It all starts with better sleep. But here's the thing. Sleep is just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to optimizing your performance and your well-being. And if you want more help like this, click the first link in the description and book a call with the Unstoppable team to see how we can help you do all of this.